Ladies and gentlemen, focus on yourself and stay silent in Ling Arser War. Listen to me right now. Ling Arser War, not the year for excuses. It's not the year for explanations. It's not the year for defending yourself to people who don't matter. This is your year, but only if you shut your mouth and get to work. Let me tell you something that most people don't want to hear. You've been talking too much. You've been explaining too much. You've been sharing your dreams with people who don't have the capacity to dream as big as you. You've been posting your goals on social media, looking for validation from people who are secretly hoping you fail. You've been having conversations that drain your energy with people who add absolutely nothing to your vision. And while you've been running your mouth, your competitors have been running laps around you. While you've been explaining your 5-year plan to anyone who listened, somebody else has been executing theirs in complete silence. Ling Arser War is the year you change all of that. This is the year you go ghost on distractions. This is the year you become so focused, so locked in, so committed to your personal development that people start wondering what happened to you. And you know what? Let them wonder. You don't owe anybody an explanation for your transformation. You don't owe anybody a breakdown of how you're spending your time. You don't owe anybody access to your energy, your plans, your dreams, or your process. No, I need you to understand something fundamental about success. The people who make the most noise are usually doing the least work. The people who are constantly updating everyone about their progress are usually making the least progress. The people who are always talking about what they're going to, do rarely have the time or energy to actually do it. You want to know why? Because talking is easy, posting is easy, explaining is easy. But the actual work, the grinding, the studying, the practicing, the failing, and getting back up, that's hard. And hard work requires silence. Hard work requires focus. Hard work requires you to cut off the noise and dive deep into yourself. You think about the greatest achievements in your life. Think about the times when you actually accomplished something meaningful. I guarantee you weren't broadcasting every step of the process. I guarantee you weren't seeking permission or validation from people who weren't even qualified to judge your journey. You were locked in, you were focused, you were moving in silence, and you let your results speak for you. That's the energy you need to bring into Ling Arser War, not the energy of proving yourself to others, but the energy of proving yourself to yourself. When I say focus on yourself, I don't just mean work on your goals. I mean dive deep into who you are as a person. I mean confront the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. I mean develop your character, strengthen your discipline, build your mental toughness, expand your knowledge, and cultivate your skills. Most people are so busy looking at what everyone else is doing that they never take the time to look in the mirror and ask themselves the hard questions. Who am I really? What do I truly want? What's holding me back? What patterns do I keep repeating? What wounds haven't I healed? What skills haven't I developed? What knowledge am I missing? You cannot become the person you're destined to be if you're constantly distracted by what everyone else is doing. You cannot build an extraordinary life if you're measuring your darkened progress against people who aren't even running the same race. You cannot maximize your potential if you're spending your energy explaining yourself to people who will never understand your vision. The moment you decide to truly focus on yourself is the moment everything changes. But true focus requires sacrifice. It requires you to cut people off. It requires you to miss events. It requires you to say no when everyone expects you to say yes. It requires you to disappoint people who have gotten comfortable with the old version of you. No. And here's what I need you to understand about staying silent. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is power. When you're silent, you're not wasting energy on explanations. When you're silent, you're not giving your critics ammunition. When you're silent, you're not inviting unnecessary opinions into your process. When you're silent, you're protecting your peace, your vision, and your energy. The people who need to explain everything are insecure. They need external validation because they don't have internal conviction. But when you know who you are and where you're going, you don't need to announce it. You just move. Some of you are going to lose friends in Artsen Lingasavur. And that's exactly what needs to happen. Some of you are going to become distant from family members who don't understand your drive. And that's part of the process. Some of you are going to be called selfish, arrogant, or stuck up because you're no longer available for every conversation, every event, every drama, every crisis that has nothing to do with your goals. Let them call you whatever they want. You're not being selfish. You're being intentional. You're not being arrogant. You're being focused. You're not stuck up. You're stuck on your vision. The truth is, most people are addicted to distraction because they're afraid of what they'll find when they're alone with themselves. They're afraid of the silence because in the silence, they have to face their fears, their insecurities, their pain, and their unfulfilled potential. So they stay busy. They stay social. They stay connected to people and things that don't serve them because it's easier than doing the internal work. But you're different. You're reading this right now because something inside you knows you're meant for more. Something inside you is tired of living below your potential. Something inside you is ready to make Artsen Lingasavur. The year everything shifts. Now, let me paint you a picture of what your life can look like if you commit to this. Imagine waking up every single day with crystal clear focus on your priorities. No scrolling through social media for 2 hours. No getting sucked into other people's drama. No wasting mental energy on things you can't control. You wake up and you immediately attack your morning routine. You exercise because you know your body is the vehicle that carries your dreams. You read because you know your mind needs to be fed with powerful ideas. You plan your day because you know that structure creates freedom. You work on your craft because you know that excellence requires repetition. Imagine going through your entire day without needing validation from anyone. Someone achieves something, and instead of feeling jealous or inadequate, you're genuinely happy for them because you're secure in your own journey. Someone criticizes you, and instead of getting defensive or explaining yourself, you just keep moving because you know who you are. Someone tries to pull you into their negativity, and you politely decline because you've learned to protect your energy. You're not reacting to everyone and everything anymore. You're responding based on what aligns with your vision. Imagine what you could accomplish if you took all the time you spend scrolling, gossiping, explaining, defending, posting, and comparing, and redirected it toward your goals. Imagine if you spent just 2 hours a day for an entire year working on a skill. That's T. by Sanchez hours. You could become an expert in something. You could write a book. You could build a business. You could transform your body. You could learn a new language. You could develop a talent that opens doors you never knew existed. But most people will never do this because they can't sit in silence long enough to focus on themselves. You know, the enemy of greatness is not failure. The enemy of greatness is distraction. And right now, you're living in the most distracted generation in human history. Everybody wants your attention. Social media wants your attention. Entertainment wants your attention. News wants your attention. Other people's problems want your attention. Drama wants your attention. And while everyone is fighting for your attention, your dreams are dying. Your potential is being wasted. Your time is slipping away. Every moment you spend focused on something that doesn't serve your vision is a moment you'll never get back. Okay? I need you to get angry about the time you've wasted. I need you to get frustrated with the version of yourself that's been playing small. I need you to get fed up with making excuses and start making moves. Because here's the reality. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you the life you want. Nobody is going to force you to focus. Nobody is going to make you stay silent when you need to. Nobody's going to push you toward your goals when you don't feel like it. This is on you. Your success is your responsibility. Your focus is your responsibility. Your discipline is your responsibility. Your growth is your responsibility. You know? And let me tell you something about responsibility that might hurt. Every single problem in your life right now, every single one is your fault. Not because you're a bad person, but because you have the power to change it, and you haven't. You're broke, that's your fault. You're out of shape, that's your fault. You're in toxic relationships, that's your fault. You're unfulfilled, that's your fault. Now, before you get defensive, understand that I'm not saying you caused every circumstance in your life. What I'm saying is that you're responsible for how you respond to those circumstances. You're responsible for what you do next. You're responsible for whether you stay stuck or whether you rise. Right? When you take radical ownership of your life, everything changes. When you stop blaming other people, the economy, your upbringing, your education, your circumstances, when you start pointing fingers and start looking in the mirror, that's when your transformation begins. Because the moment you take responsibility is the moment you take back your power. You can't change what you don't own. You can't fix what you keep blaming on external factors. But the moment you say, this is my fault and I'm going to fix it, now you're dangerous. Now you're unstoppable. Now you're on the path to becoming who you're meant to be. Arsene Lingard's reward is not about making resolutions. You'll break in 3 weeks. Arsene Lingard's reward is about making a decision that changes the trajectory of your entire life. The decision to focus on yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. The decision to stay silent isn't weak. It's strategic. The decision to remove yourself from distractions isn't antisocial. Well, it's essential. Right? You're not withdrawing from life. You're withdrawing from everything that's preventing you from living the life you're capable of living. You know, some of you need to hear this. Your calling is more important than your comfort. Your purpose is more important than people pleasing. Your destiny is more important than being liked. So, your growth is more important than fitting in. Your vision is more important than validation. And until you internalize these truths, you'll keep settling for less than you deserve. You'll keep making decisions based on what other people think instead of what you know is right for you. You'll keep shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable. You'll keep playing small because you're afraid of the attention that comes with playing big. No, but here's what happens when you finally decide to go all in on yourself. At first, people will be confused. They'll reach out asking why you've been so quiet. They'll wonder why you're not as available as you used to be. They'll question your new habits, your new schedule, your new boundaries. And this is where most people break. This is where most people cave to the pressure and go back to their old ways because they can't handle being misunderstood. But not you, not in our sending our Sawul. You're going to hold strong. You're going to trust the process. You're going to let your results do the talking. After a while, the confusion will turn into criticism. People will say you've changed. They'll say you think you're better than everyone else. They'll say you're too focused, too serious, too driven. They'll try to pull you back down to their level because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your discipline reminds them of their lack of discipline. Your progress reminds them of their stagnation. Your silence reminds them of how much noise they make without producing results. Don't defend yourself. Don't explain yourself. Just keep moving. Then after the criticism, something beautiful will happen. The right people will show up. The right opportunities will present themselves. The right doors will open. The right resources will become available. And the same people who criticize you will either apologize or disappear. The same people who questioned you will either respect you or remove themselves from your life. And that's fine. Not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. Some people are seasonal. Some people are in your life to teach you what you don't want. Some people are in your life to show you who you don't want to become. Thank them for the lesson and keep it moving. Right? Now let's talk about the practical side of focusing on yourself. It's not just about cutting people off and going silent. It's about what you do with your time, energy, and attention. Every single day, you need to be intentional about these three things. First, your time. Time is the only resource you can never get back. Every second that passes is gone forever. So how are you spending your time? Are you investing it in activities that compound and create long-term value? Or are you wasting it on entertainment, drama, and distractions that give you temporary pleasure but long-term regret? In e-sending Arsarwul, you need to audit your time. Track how you spend every hour for 1 week. You'll be shocked at how much time you're wasting. Second, your energy. Not all activities drain your energy equally. Some things energize you. Some things deplete you. Some people lift you up. Some people drag you down. Some environments inspire you. Some environments suffocate you. You need to identify what gives you energy and what takes it away. Then you need to ruthlessly eliminate the energy vampires from your life. That negative friend who only calls when they have a problem, cut them off. That toxic family member who always makes you feel inadequate, create distance. That job that drains your soul, start building an exit plan. That social media platform that leaves you feeling depressed, delete the app. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Third, your attention. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Whatever you consistently focus on grows. If you focus on problems, problems multiply. If you focus on possibilities, opportunities appear. If you focus on what's wrong with the world, you'll be miserable. If you focus on what you can control and improve, you'll be empowered. In our singing, our Sawul, you need to be militant about what you allow into your mind. Guard your attention. Be selective about what you watch, what you read, who you listen to, and what you think about. Your attention is the steering wheel of your life. Where you point it determines where you go. Here's a challenge for you. For the next Chosen Days, just Chosen Days, I want you to implement what I call the silence protocol. No posting about your goals on social media. No telling people what you're working on. No explaining your new habits. No defending your new boundaries. No engaging in gossip or drama. No consuming negative news. No comparison to others. Just pure, focused execution. Wake up every day and work on yourself. Read, exercise, learn, practice, build, create, improve, and don't say a word about it. Just do it. At the end of those codes days, compare where you are to where you were. I guarantee you'll be shocked at the progress you've made. I guarantee people around you will notice the difference even though you never said anything. I guarantee you'll have more clarity, more confidence, more results, and more momentum than you've had in years. And that's when you'll realize that silence wasn't about hiding. It was about focusing. It wasn't about being antisocial. It was about being intentional. It wasn't about pushing people away. It was about pulling yourself together. Yeah. Let me address something that might be holding you back. Some of you are afraid that if you focus on yourself, you're being selfish. Let me destroy that lie right now. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot help others if you're broken yourself. You cannot lift others up if you're down. You cannot be there for your family if you're stressed, broke, and unfulfilled. The most generous thing you can do for the people you love is to become the best version of yourself. When you're strong, you can strengthen others. When you're healed, you can heal others. When you're successful, you can help others succeed. But none of that happens if you sacrifice yourself trying to please everyone else. There's a reason they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first before helping others on an airplane. Because if you pass out trying to help everyone else, now everyone's in trouble. Same principle applies to life. Focus on yourself first. Build yourself up first. Heal yourself first. Strengthen yourself first. Then from a position of strength, you can genuinely serve others. But right now, most of you are running on empty, trying to be there for everyone, and you're no good to anybody, including yourself. I want to talk about the power of compound interest in personal development. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. They want overnight success. They want instant results. They want to transform their life in sensors days. But that's not how greatness works. Greatness is built through small, consistent actions repeated over time. If you improve yourself by just 1% every single day, by the end of the year, you'll be sensor T times better than when you started. Not somebody low to 2% better, sensor T times better. That's the power of compound growth. But here's the catch. Compound growth works in both directions. If you get 1% worse every day by procrastinating, by making excuses, by choosing comfort over growth, by the end of the year, you'll be almost at zero. You'll have declined to nearly nothing. So the question isn't whether you're changing every single day. The question is, are you getting better or worse? Are you growing or declining? Are you moving toward your potential or away from it? Every choice you make is a vote for the person you're becoming. What are you voting for? In arts and healing arts, I want you to fall in love with the process, not just the results. Most people only celebrate the destination, but the real magic happens in the journey. The real transformation happens in the daily grind. The real growth happens in the moments when nobody's watching, when nobody's cheering, when there's no reward, no recognition, no applause. It happens when you choose to do the work anyway. It happens when you show up for yourself, when you don't feel like it. It happens when you keep your promises to yourself, even when no one else knows you made them. No, success is not an event. Success is a lifestyle. Success is who you become in the pursuit of your goals. You could achieve every goal you've ever set and still be miserable if you don't develop yourself in the process. But if you focus on becoming the type of person who's worthy of success, if you build the character, the discipline, the integrity, the work ethic, the resilience, then success becomes inevitable. It's no longer a matter of if, but when. Let me tell you what's going to happen when you commit to this path. There will be days when you want to quit. There will be moments when you question whether it's worth it. There will be times when you feel lonely because you're no longer surrounded by people who drain your energy. There will be periods when you see others posting their wins on social media and you'll wonder if you're falling behind. This is when you need to dig deeper. This is when you need to remember why you started. This is when you need to trust the process and keep moving forward. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. What do you want to carry? Do you want to carry the temporary discomfort of waking up early, saying no to distractions and doing hard things? Or do you want to carry the permanent weight of knowing you had potential you never fulfilled, dreams you never pursued, and a life you never fully lived? The choice is yours, but you have to make it every single day. And in Arsenling Arsaur, I'm challenging you to choose discipline over regret. Choose growth over comfort. Choose focus over distraction. Choose yourself over everyone else's expectations. Here's what I know about you. You're capable of so much more than you're currently producing. You have talents you haven't developed. You have ideas you haven't executed. You have potential you haven't tapped into. You have a version of yourself that you've never met. A version that's confident, focused, successful, fulfilled, and free. And the only thing standing between current you and future you is your willingness to focus on yourself and stay silent while you work. That's it. That's the bridge. Your willingness to put in the work without needing constant validation or recognition. The world doesn't need another person posting quotes about success. The world needs people who actually do the work. The world doesn't need more talk. The world needs more action. The world doesn't need more people making promises. The world needs people who keep them. Be that person. Be the person who says less and does more. Be the person who makes bold moves in silence. Be the person who shocks everyone with their transformation because nobody saw it coming. Be the person who was written off, counted out, and underestimated, but came back stronger than anyone imagined. Your comeback story is being written right now. Every choice you make today is a sentence in that story. Every habit you build today is a chapter. Every person you cut off, every distraction you eliminate, every hour you invest in yourself, it's all part of the narrative. And when people ask you how you did it, when they ask you how you transformed your life, when they ask you what your secret was, you're going to smile and say one word: focus. You focused on yourself when everyone else was focused on everyone else. You stayed silent when everyone else was making noise. You did the work when everyone else was making excuses. I'm going to leave you with this. 10 years from now, you're going to be somewhere. The question is where. You're going to be someone. Question is who. You're either going to be living the life of your dreams, or you're going to be living with the regret of not pursuing them. You're either going to be proud of who you became, or you're going to be disappointed with who you stayed. You're either going to be free or you're going to be stuck. And the deciding factor is what you do in Arsenling Arsawur. This year, this moment, this decision. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Stop waiting for circumstances to change. Stop waiting for motivation to strike. Stop waiting, period. Start moving. Start working. Start building. Start transforming. Start focusing on yourself. Start staying silent and letting your actions speak. The time is now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, right now, this very moment, make the decision. Commit to the process. Embrace the silence. Focus on yourself and watch how your entire life changes. Arsenling Arsawur is your year, but only if you make it your year. Nobody's going to hand it to you. You have to take it. You have to claim it. You have to earn it every single day, with every single choice, with every single action. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your opportunity. Don't waste it. Don't squander it. Don't look back 10 years from now and wish you had done things differently. Do them differently starting today. Focus on yourself. Stay silent. Execute relentlessly. Trust the process. Protect your energy. Guard your time. Invest in your growth. Eliminate distractions. Build your discipline. Develop your skills. Strengthen your mind. Heal your heart. Chase your dreams. Become who you're meant to be. And when you finally arrive at the destination, when you finally become that person you knew you could be, when people finally see what you've built in silence, you're going to realize that the journey was worth it. Every sacrifice, every lonely night, every moment of doubt, every time you wanted to quit but didn't, it was all worth it. Now get up, lock in, and make Arsenling Arsawur the year you changed everything. Not for anyone else, for yourself, because you deserve it, because you're capable of it. Because deep down, you know you were born for more. Go get it in silence, with focus, with purpose, with everything you've got. Your time is now.